Are you personally doing everything in your business or even possibly feeling alone? In today's episode, I am joined by Cory Blumenfeld with BlueMoso. He shares about how building systems and learning how to delegate can help you grow your business without having to do it all by yourself. Let's jump into this episode. Hey, I'm Shaytoya. I've spent more than 10 years in construction, working behind the scenes in marketing, hiring, and I've seen how overwhelming it can be to grow a business. That's how we've learned to build a sustainable business using clear systems, strong communication, and intentional recruiting. If you're ready for better hiring, smarter remarketing, and a business that doesn't fall apart when you step away, welcome to Building Better Contractor Businesses. Welcome, Cory Blumenfeld with BlueMoso. Cory, could you just tell us a little bit about yourself and your background?
I consider myself a lifelong entrepreneur. I built my first business in university. I didn't consider it a business. I built 2 tech businesses. After that, exited them both. And then now I'm building a business in the virtual assistant and outsourcing place. All of the businesses that I have started, I had zero experience or expertise before I got into them. I just learned on the go, and it's been an interesting journey, I should say. I've learned a lot and built a lot of great friendships. I have the entrepreneurial bug, so I don't think I can ever stop. God bless my mother. She wanted me to be a doctor.
On our podcast, it's towards contractors. So when it comes to contractors, how are some ways that you guys can help contractors when it comes to delegation?
Yeah, I've worked with some contractors. My best friend is a contractor, and I talk to him about this occasionally, right? There's still a lot of admin work that needs to be done, a ton of admin work. And I know for a lot of folks, even for a lot of, folks that aren't contractors, dealing with the day-to-day admin, it's what keeps them away from what they love doing. If you're a contractor, sometimes you love doing getting your hands dirty, doing the physical work. Other times you like interacting with the clients and managing the team or the other vendors and individuals that you're contracting with, right? So any of the admin work that keeps you away stops you from really growing and scaling the business. The other thing is managing people. It's not always the easiest thing to do when you're trying to build a business. So, for the contractors that we've worked with, we've helped them with some of the basic admin work, bookkeeping, managing calendars, right? I've seen how challenging it can be for contractors where there's the systems aren't set up yet. And so we can help them set up those systems. A VA can come in and set up those systems, help them plan meetings, keep them on track, respond to client inquiries, manage websites, manage email. There's so many different things that they can come in and do. They can manage a tech stack. So that's what I've seen contractors in the past using VAs to support them with.
And so that's great. As you said, a lot of contractors are struggling with the admin side of things, and so that could really help. What are some of the things that when it comes to, working with contractors, small businesses, what are some things that you feel like they're struggling when it comes to delegation?
Yeah, I think this is like a lot of business owners. A lot of times, when I speak to contractors, business owners, a lot of the process, when it's just them, it was easy, right? But everything started to live in their head. And as you bring on more clients, you want to grow your business and reach different revenue goals, it's getting that out of the head. So that's one thing. It's like it all lives up here for a lot of business owners. Like everything we do, my vendors, the people I work with, the bookkeeping, it's all done here. And what I've seen where they need the most support is getting that out of their head and creating a system, a process, so it becomes a lot more streamlined. So it's easier to grow from 5, 10, 20 projects at a time. The other thing is managing people. While you're managing a business, especially in the trades, especially in a small business, it's really hard to grow the business, bring on more clients, and then manage people, right? So, that people management piece isn't always the easiest. So we come in and we support them with that. But there's so many different things, when it comes to delegation, I think it comes to the systems that are in place, right? It's easy to hire people. It really is. But to make sure those people are successful is very challenging and comes down to having the right systems, process, and structure in place for them to set them up to succeed.
That is so true. And when it comes to when people decide that they should delegate, maybe hire a virtual assistant, what do you believe is the first thing that they should delegate?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the question is, what doesn't rely on you? There is rule of thumb. The first thing I like to do for myself is, what is the value of my time? Like, what is an hour worth to me? A lot of folks have this mindset where they when it comes to paying for things, they look at it as an expense versus the ROI. Well, as a business owner, the value of your time is the most expensive thing. And if you're spending that time doing administrative work, let's say it can be done for $15 an hour, and your time is worth, let's say, $50 an hour, right? Your time is better spent on more, I guess, high worth activities, things that are going to drive the business forward. So you can email, for example, if you're spending time on email, managing your calendar, doing coordination on projects, right? That is taking you away from actually going and speaking to new clients, activities that are going to bring in new clients, right? So the question is your time, if you're $50 an hour, worth spending it on that, or finding someone for $15 an hour that can help to take on that work so you can go focus on bringing on more of those expensive projects. So I think that that's one of the first places I start when I'm thinking about what to delegate. How much does it actually cost to complete this task? If it's more than what you're currently making for that hour, you should delegate that to someone else. But the first task is is it actually driving revenue? Is it actually driving the business forward? Is it really something that only you can do? And most of the time, honestly, I'd say like 99% of the time. I'd even say 100% of the time. If you're really building a business like that can grow without you, like doesn't need to rely on you, you can delegate it. That's the most successful business owners are the ones that really understand their business, but really understand how to delegate things effectively. And so I think almost everything in a business can be delegated. Otherwise, you'll never be able to take a vacation. You'll never be able to take time off.
No, Cory, I agree with you 100%. And I was going to ask you as well, but you brought it up. You're like 99% of things can be delegated or 100%. Are there anything that you could think of that's possibly not able to be delegated?
Well, I have a question. And this is what I would think of for you and your audience. If you were to take up 2 weeks off right now, would the business survive without you? Right? Like the other thing is like, how long can you go without checking in on the business? It really does matter. I think that a good business owner needs to have ownership of certain things. They need to be in the trenches for the most part, right? And understand how the business works. I think the one thing that maybe can't be delegated while you are taking the role of the CEO is kind of the vision, the strategy, how the business goes forward. But that being said, I think anything technically can be delegated. Like it can be delegated with the right systems and structures in place. It doesn't start overnight. You can't just go to someone and say, take this off my plate, figure this out for me. I think the business owner kind of has to figure out the strategy and like the direction and put some structure in place. But once that's in place, for example, when I think about how I'm delegating, maybe I'll do a task and it's something that I know can be delegated, but I really want the strategy and the process in place to set up someone who I'm delegating it to for success. So I'll give myself a deadline. I'll be like, okay, I'm going to take on a process in the business and I'll own it for 30 days. After those 30 days, I have to hand it off to someone else. So hard to say then nothing can be delegated, because if there's something that can't be delegated, how do you sell the business? How do you walk away from the business? How do you take a vacation? How do you grow the business without you? And it depends on the business you want, right? I get it. But, if you do want something that can grow and scale without you, or something that you can sell, it has to live without you.
Exactly. And how can you take a vacation? So, one of the things that you did mention was about systems. Would you say that is the biggest mistake people make when hiring a virtual assistant, or is there something else?
There's a lot to this, right? I think when folks are hiring individuals in general, it's, yes, not giving the system, setting them up for success. It's like handing them something and not showing them how you want it to be done. So I find a lot of business owners, there's a certain way they want something done. They spend every single day doing it, right? And so they have certain expectations and they don't provide the information on what success actually looks like. What does that look like? How do I actually do it every day? And they expect perfect right away from the start. So I think that's one aspect. I think the other aspect that we're learning about a lot, and we've built into our model at BlueMoso, is just because you find someone on paper and just because you interview someone that has the skills that you need doesn't mean they're the right fit for you, especially when you're a small business owner or a contractor. You really need to vibe with the person that you're bringing on. If it's a virtual assistant, if it's another contractor, if you bring on someone that you don't match with personality level, communication, work style level, what happens is disagreements become big things. Work doesn't get done the way that you want it. So I think the match, finding the right fit, the right person, that's where it started. And it's a mix of skill, work style, personality type, and communication style.
What do you think someone as a leader needs to have people follow or want to follow them?
Yeah, there's a lot to this, right?
Mm-hmm.
But, who's a person that I want to follow? It's someone that is coachable, someone that is open to feedback, someone that's willing to listen, someone that's willing to get their hands dirty, jump in the trenches with me, do the hard work, right? That's a leader that I want to follow. And that's kind of how I lead in general, right? I'm not going to ask my team to do something that I wouldn't personally do myself. That's why the generalist mindset in my mind is super important, because it's someone that knows enough, can be there in the trenches, that can have a conversation, someone that treats me with respect, right? That's a leader I want to follow. Someone that gives me responsibility, someone that gives me trust, someone that allows me to make mistakes. There's so many traits. I don't think there's just one trait, right? It's a person you want to spend time with. That's someone that I want to follow. Someone that has conviction in their vision, right? Like no other path. And obviously there's stubbornness. So there's this fine line between like conviction and then like, what's unrealistic, but it's someone that really has belief in what they're doing. Someone that's creating value for others, right? So there are so many traits that make up a great leader. And those are the things that I think unconsciously we look for when we're looking to follow someone or allow them to delegate something to us.
And I love that. What, for you personally, what would you say would be the best thing that you've ever delegated?
I mean, the current business, BlueMoso, I'm able to take a vacation, right? I was sick for 5 days in like a couple months ago. I hate taking time off. I hate not being able to work. It scares me. But I could barely pick my head out of bed. I couldn't get up. And my team ran the business without me. There were still things that maybe I needed to support with, but I was able to take time off. I was able to rely on them. I was able to trust them to get things done. So I would say that that's my biggest achievement, that I was allowed to be sick. I'm able to take time off now. So this business, in my mind, it can be delegated. And I did. I delegated the business when I was sick. I've delegated the business when I've taken time off for a few days. That's my crowning achievement right now. That the business, technically, I'm able to fully delegate it, but I'm still needed. It's just, I know that it can run without me.
And that's beautiful. Is there a piece of advice that you would give to a contractor who wants to start getting their time back?
Yeah. I think when it comes to finding the right support, don't look at it like an expense, right? If that support, if you're able to delegate it to someone virtually, if you're able to delegate it to someone in person, and that's going to give you time to focus on growing your business, having more time with the family, having more time in your personal life, that's a huge win. There's a real return on that. And so, being open-minded to it, understanding the power of being a good delegator, right? It's not easy for a lot of people, but it's definitely something that can be learned. So for me, everything changed when I really started understanding and focused on delegating things. It didn't just have to be me. I didn't have to be doing everything. It gave me a lot of free time back, but it helped me actually grow the business a lot further. Everything I've done for BlueMoso has been in the last 2 years, and that's because everything that we're offering is everything that I'm preaching. It's everything that I apply in my life. I focus on figuring out what I can delegate, what I need to own.
And I love that. When it comes to hiring you guys for a virtual assistant to help other contractors, is there a time frame limit that someone may be able to use you guys for?
No, we try to make things easy. I want to reduce barriers to entry. So we're month to month. We do have some structure in place to make sure we're being fair to the virtual assistants, and that they feel supported and that they have something stable to work on. But yeah, no, we try to make it easy. You come to us, we'll make sure you get the right fit, the right match. We'll make sure that this individual has the skills that you need them to possess, and then we'll help support them, and we'll help support you as well. We know delegation isn't easy. We know that managing people isn't easy. So, we kind of act as the middle person, supporting the virtual assistant and supporting the business owner in growing their business and building a team.
So month to month, meaning no contracts. Is there a minimum amount that someone has to use you guys for the month to month?
Yeah, it's just so 1 month. That's how it starts. So like it's there's a contract that we have. It's 1 month. It's monthly. So they can, with a certain amount of notice. It's usually 15 days notice, and the agreement. But yeah, it's 1 month at a time. We want to make it easy for folks. Obviously, if the person's doing good work and helping them grow the business or helping them get more free time, then it's just more of an incentive to keep going forward.
Exactly. No, that's great. And if someone's looking to connect with you guys, how do they do that?
Yeah, you can contact me at using our website, BlueMoso.com. And then, you can send me an email at hello@BlueMoso.com. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Instagram. I'm on TikTok, all the social media platforms that everyone's on these days. And yeah, make myself available.
Awesome. And on LinkedIn, TikTok, those social media platforms, would that be your personal name or the actual company?
Personal name.
Personal name. Awesome. And we'll be sure to put that in the show notes. Cory, is there anything else that you'd like to add before we go?
No, usually for when I end a call, Shaytoya, I end every call with fist bumps. So boom. But no, this was a pleasure chatting with you, and I hope that your audience found some value in everything that I shared. And yeah, no, appreciate your time.
Of course. Thank you so much, Cory. If you believe that this episode brought you real clarity, be sure to share it with another contractor who also needs it. And if you want to keep this conversation going, be sure to join our community of contractors inside Building Better Contractor Businesses Facebook group. This is a community where we talk through the real problems that you are having in your business. The link will be found in our show notes. And remember, we are not just completing projects. We are building better contractor businesses. I will see you next time.